Okay, just imagine for a second getting your hands on a true frontier class AI. We're talking about a model that can effortlessly read through 10 million tokens of context, natively process complex images, and write production-ready code. Now, what if I told you that you could get all of that without paying a single cent? No subscription, no per-token API fees. Well, that is exactly the wild premise we are diving into today.
Welcome to today's Explainer. We are taking a hard, honest look at Meta's highly anticipated Llama 4 release. Our goal here is to separate the unbelievable hype from the actual ground-level reality of deploying this open-weight giant. We're going to figure out exactly what you need to know before you start spinning this up on your own servers. Here is our game plan. 1. We'll meet the Llama 4 family. 2. We'll peek inside the architecture. 3. We'll look at the benchmarks and the controversy. 4. The unbeatable economics. And 5. We'll wrap up with a final verdict. All right, let's jump right into part 1. Meet the Llama 4 family, Scout, Maverick, and Behemoth. So, Meta didn't just drop a single one-size-fits-all model, they actually gave us 3 purpose-built options. First up is Scout, built for lightweight efficiency. Then we have Maverick. This is the 400 billion parameter native multimodal flagship that most enterprises are probably going to target. And finally, there's Behemoth, an ultra-large model that's currently still in training, custom-built to go toe-to-toe with the likes of GPT 4.5.
Now we need to talk about Scout for a second. 10 million tokens. Let that sink in. That is Scout's massive context window. To put that into perspective, you could literally dump your entire enterprise software codebase, or, 20 full-length novels into a single prompt. For any organization dealing with massive, deep archives, this is a structural advantage that basically no other model currently offers.
Moving on to part 2. Let's go inside the architecture, the real engine room of these models.
You might be wondering, how exactly does Maverick handle 400 billion parameters without literally melting your server racks? Well, it uses a mixture of experts architecture. What that means is it keeps the active compute down to just 17 billion parameters per token. But the real magic here is something called early fusion multimodality. Instead of just bolting a vision processor onto a text model as an afterthought, Maverick fuses text and images together right at the input layer. It's built for genuinely unified reasoning from the ground up.
But of course, architecture isn't just about raw horsepower, right? It's about control. Meta is shipping Llama 4 with a totally open, comprehensive safety ecosystem. You get Llama Guard to act as your safety filter, Prompt Guard to catch and stop jailbreak attempts, and CyberSec Eval to constantly measure your risk. If you're a privacy-conscious team deploying in heavily regulated spaces like finance or healthcare, having all these tools completely open and customizable on your own metal is a massive advantage. You aren't just relying on opaque, black-boxed API filters anymore.
All right, part 3. Benchmarks and the controversy. It is time for a reality check.
On paper, Maverick's academic performance looks like an absolute knockout. Just look at the MMLU, which tests broad knowledge across 57 different subjects. Maverick scores an incredible 91.8. That places it within basically half a point of GPT 5.4, which sits at 92.3. And even the smaller model, Scout, totally holds its own with a very solid 84.0. It looks like an absolute powerhouse.
But there's a catch, and honestly, it's a pretty big one. To get those top-tier arena votes, Meta actually submitted a heavily tuned experimental variant of the model, not the base one. The backlash got so intense that Meta's own chief AI scientist, Jan LeCun, publicly admitted the numbers were, and I quote, fudged a little bit. Yeah, so the public weights that you and I can actually download, they just don't perform quite as perfectly as the marketing hype implies. So what's the big takeaway here for anyone actually building production systems? You absolutely have to treat initial vendor reports with a healthy dose of skepticism. You need to validate independently on your own specific use cases using tools like LMSES standard weights, artificial analysis, or NIST. Because while Maverick is fiercely competitive, don't get me wrong, it's amazing. Independent tests show it still trails behind models like Claude Opus 4.7 when you get into really complex, multi-step agentic reasoning or strict JSON formatting. It's fantastic, but you need to know its actual limits.
Let's pivot to part 4. This is where things get really exciting. The unbeatable economics, pricing, and use cases. When it comes to deployment, you basically have total flexibility. On one side, you can completely self-host. The weights are totally free to download under the community license, as long as your company has under 700 million users. You get 100% data sovereignty, and you only pay for your hardware. On the other side, if you don't want the operational headache of managing servers, you can use hosted inference providers. Companies like Grok, Deep Infra, and Together AI offer managed endpoints at just insanely low costs per token.
And this is where the market disruption really hits. Running Maverick on a managed endpoint like Grok will cost you just 60 cents per million output tokens. 60 cents. Compare that to $25 for Claude Opus 4.7 or $30 for GPT 5.5. We're talking about near-frontier intelligence that is roughly 40 to 50 times cheaper than the closed alternatives. It's wild.
Because the economics are so ridiculously good, Llama 4 unlocks some incredible use cases. It is absolutely the best choice for privacy-first enterprises that simply cannot risk any sort of data leakage. Scout is your go-to for ultra-long document analysis. Imagine having an AI read a decade's worth of financial filings in a single prompt. Maverick is perfect for building internal multimodal tools like automated invoice processing. And here's the crazy part. Scout is small enough that you can actually run it for edge and on-device deployments right on standard consumer GPUs.
Okay, quick timeout though. I do need to highlight a very specific geographic limitation here. If your company is headquartered in the European Union, the current community license strictly prohibits you from utilizing the multimodal variants of Llama 4. Running text-only use cases? Totally fine. But if you need vision capabilities in the EU, you're going to have to look at self-hosted alternatives like Mistral or DeepSeek for now.
Which brings us to part 5, the final verdict. Let's do a quick rapid-fire decision matrix to see exactly where you fit in.
So, who is this actually for? If you are a privacy-first enterprise or a multimodal startup, use Maverick. Full stop. If you need to dig through 10 million token archives or run models on the edge, Scout is your best friend. However, you should consider alternatives if you're in the EU and need vision, or if your application relies entirely on super strict JSON outputs for complex agent stacks, and definitely do not use it if you have over 700 million users, obviously, or if your specific use case genuinely requires the absolute bleeding-edge reasoning that you only get from a closed frontier model. But, ultimately, if you want near-frontier intelligence with zero vendor lock-in at a fraction of the cost, Llama 4 is the clear winner today.
Of course, knowing which model to use is really only half the battle, right? The other half is actually building with it. To successfully deploy these open-weight giants on your own infrastructure, I highly recommend checking out the Uplatz educational resources linked in the description. They have fantastic courses like Agentic AI Fundamentals, AI in Finance, and Python for Data Analysis that are perfectly tailored to help your team master this whole self-hosted AI revolution.
And that wraps up today's explainer on Meta's Llama 4. We've covered those massive context windows, the insane cost savings, and the honest truth about what the model can actually do. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Taking a close look at your own tech stack and your organization's data privacy needs, are you ready to take the leap into self-hosting? And if you are, what hardware are you going to run it on? Dive into the comments, discuss it with your team, and keep learning. I will catch you in the next explainer.